What if the most powerful medicines and the greatest sources of untouched wealth weren't hidden in pharmaceutical labs, but were written right in the pages of the Bible? Most people do not know this. While we run to the pharmacy for every ailment, there are sacred plants that have healed humanity for thousands of years, and today they are selling for up to $80 a pound. These plants have real clinical proof. Modern science and the global market have finally caught up to what our ancestors knew. Today, I will show you 20 profitable plants that can make you a millionaire while providing genuine healing. Stick around until the end, because number 18 is a miraculous plant currently researched by NASA, and number 19 is literally the gold of the culinary world. Hit subscribe right now, as we connect ancient biblical wisdom with modern health and wealth every single week. Number 1. Moringa, the miracle tree of life. If you search through ancient texts and the histories of early civilizations, you will find references to trees whose leaves were meant for the healing of the nations. Moringa is the physical embodiment of that ancient promise. For centuries, traditional healers across Africa and Asia relied on this drought-resistant plant to bring the near-dead back to life. But here is what most people miss. This is not just a survival crop for the ancient world. It is a highly profitable commodity today, selling for $20 to $40 a pound. Modern science has caught up spectacularly. Clinical trials have revealed that moringa leaves contain powerful compounds called isothiocyanates, which attack oxidative stress at the molecular level. While people are swallowing handfuls of synthetic multivitamins, this single plant contains more vitamin C than oranges, more calcium than milk, and more potassium than bananas. Traditional application is profoundly simple. You dry the leaves in the shade to preserve the enzymatic activity, crush them into a fine green powder, and consume it daily to regulate blood sugar and obliterate inflammation. Moringa never got forgotten, but we did forget that it is genuine healing. This was not symbolic. This was a direct medical prescription that you can grow in your backyard and turn into a lucrative business. Number 2. Culantro, the sacred shadow herb. Do not confuse this with its common cousin cilantro. Culantro is a completely different botanical powerhouse, with serrated leaves that has been quietly cultivated by indigenous healers in the Caribbean and Latin America for generations. Historically, it was revered as a potent remedy for fevers and convulsions. But here is what most people miss. While ordinary cilantro sells for pennies at the grocery store, culantro is desperately undersupplied and commands $15 to $30 a pound from specialty buyers and holistic practitioners. Modern science has finally caught up. Researchers examining culantro at the molecular level discovered high concentrations of oringol, an organic compound with severe antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. Clinical trials indicate that its essential oils can neutralize harmful bacteria and soothe chronic pain pathways without the severe side effects of pharmaceutical painkillers. The traditional use is still the most effective. You take the fresh leaves, steep them in hot water to release the volatile oils, and drink the decoction to soothe severe digestive distress and calm the nervous system. Culantro never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was considered sacred. We traded a profound natural medicine for synthetic stomach pills that damage the gut lining. Number 3. Purslane, the weedy wealth bringer. If you have a garden or a gravel driveway, you have probably ripped this plant out of the ground and thrown it away. Ancient civilizations certainly did not. In antiquity, purslane was highly valued across the Middle East and the Mediterranean as a cooling herb to treat burning fevers and internal bleeding. It was a staple in ancient apothecaries. But here is what most people miss. The exact weed you are poisoning with chemical herbicides is currently selling for up to $30 a pound to high-end chefs and natural health companies. Modern science has caught up to the ancient wisdom in a shocking way. Laboratory analysis reveals that purslane contains the highest concentration of omega-3 fatty acids of any leafy green plant on Earth. It is also packed with naturally occurring melatonin. At the cellular level, it fights the oxidative stress that leads to cardiovascular disease. Traditionally, you simply harvest the succulent leaves and stems and eat them raw or lightly blanched to preserve the delicate fatty acids. You are essentially pulling cardiovascular medicine out of the cracks in your pavement. Purslane never got forgotten, but we completely forgot that this persistent little plant is a genuine miracle of cellular repair. Number 4. Lovage, the forgotten root of restoration. Walk into any ancient monastery garden in Europe, and you would find lovage growing tall and proud. It was a cornerstone of ancient Roman medicine and medieval healing used to clear the lungs and purify the blood. But here is what most people miss. This towering perennial is no longer just a relic of the past. It is incredibly rare in the modern market, and high-end culinary and medical buyers are paying $15 to $30 a pound for its leaves and roots. Modern science has caught up to the monks. Clinical trials have shown that lovage contains a massive amount of quercetin, a powerful flavonoid that stops inflammation at the molecular level and acts as a natural antihistamine. Instead of buying over-the-counter allergy medications that leave you drowsy and dehydrated, our ancestors knew better. The traditional use involves taking the hollow stems and robust roots and simmering them into a profound healing broth that instantly opens up respiratory pathways and detoxifies the liver. Lovage never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was sacred. This is not just soup flavoring. This is a direct medical prescription for internal restoration. Number 5. Epazote, the Mayan healer. Deep in the heart of Mesoamerica, the ancient Mayans cultivated a pungent herb that they believed could drive out evil spirits and internal sickness. For centuries, it was the ultimate remedy for digestive ailments and parasitic infections. But here is what most people miss. Today, epazote is an absolute goldmine for authentic Mexican cuisine and natural medicine markets, commanding $12 to $25 a pound. Modern science has caught up and validated the Mayan shaman. Researchers isolated a compound in epazote called ascaridole, which is a highly effective natural anti-parasitic agent. Clinical trials demonstrate its ability to eradicate intestinal worms and balance the gut microbiome without the toxic load of pharmaceutical dewormers. The traditional application remains beautifully simple and profound. You add a few fresh or dried sprigs of epazote to a pot of boiling beans or heavy stews. The heat activates the chemical compounds, breaking down the indigestible proteins and preventing severe gastric distress. Epazote never got forgotten, but we did forget that it is genuine healing. We traded this ancient digestive protector for chemical antacids that only mask the symptoms of a broken gut. Number 6. Mexican tarragon, the golden thread of the Aztecs. Long before modern medicine, the Aztecs burned this bright yellow flower as a sacred incense to calm the minds of the anxious, and brewed it into potent teas to cure severe stomach ailments. It was considered a gift from the gods of rain and agriculture. But here is what most people miss. In the modern agricultural business, Mexican tarragon is a brilliant and highly profitable substitute for French tarragon because it survives brutal heat and drought, easily fetching top dollar from culinary and medicinal buyers. Modern science has finally caught up to the Aztec Empire. The plant is rich in a compound called anethole, which clinical trials have proven to possess strong antimicrobial and mild anesthetic properties. When applied at the molecular level, it reduces oxidative stress in the central nervous system, providing an instant cooling sensation and deep physical relaxation. Traditionally, you harvest the golden flowers and slender leaves, brewing them into a sweet licorice-flavored tea that immediately settles the stomach and induces restful sleep. Mexican tarragon never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was sacred. This is not just a landscaping plant. It is a profound nervous system regulator. Number 7. Shiso, the purple leaf of longevity. If you are starting to see the pattern here, hit like and subscribe to join a community that understands that true healing is holistic and natural. Let us continue with shiso. For thousands of years, Eastern medicine revered this vibrant plant as a sacred blood purifier and a preserver of life. It was so highly valued that it was used in ancient purification rituals. But here is what most people miss. Shiso is currently experiencing a massive boom in the health and wellness market, selling for $20 to $50 a pound. Modern science has caught up spectacularly. Clinical trials have identified exceptionally high levels of rosmarinic acid in shiso leaves. This compound is a fierce immune system modulator that fights off severe allergic reactions and stops inflammation at the molecular level. It literally programs your cells to defend themselves against oxidative stress. The traditional use is profoundly elegant. You take the massive purple or green leaves and use them to wrap raw foods or steep them into a brilliant red tea that detoxifies the respiratory system. Shiso never got forgotten, but we did forget that it is medicine. We traded this ancient immunity shield for synthetic antihistamines that damage our organs. Number 8. Fenugreek, the ancient seed of strength. When archaeologists opened the tomb of King Tutankhamun, they did not just find gold and jewels. They found fenugreek seeds. Across the ancient Middle East and biblical lands, these golden seeds were prescribed for physical weakness and to bring mother's milk in abundance. But here is what most people miss. Fenugreek is not just a historical curiosity. It is an exploding commodity in the fitness and wellness industry, consistently selling for $15 to $30 a pound. Modern science has caught up to the pharaohs. The seeds contain a highly active compound called diosgenin. Clinical trials have proven that diosgenin acts as a natural precursor to human hormones, naturally boosting testosterone in men and balancing estrogen in women without the devastating side effects of synthetic hormone replacement therapy. Traditionally, you soak the hard golden seeds overnight in water until they swell, releasing their mucilage and potent medicinal compounds. You drink the water and chew the seeds to instantly lower blood sugar and reduce systemic inflammation. Fenugreek never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was sacred. This is a direct medical prescription for hormonal harmony. Number 9. Hyssop, the holy purifier. If there is one plant that bridges the gap between divine text and physical healing, it is hyssop. It was the exact plant used to paint the blood on the doorposts during the first Passover. But here is what most people miss. This is not a metaphor. Hyssop is a highly lucrative medicinal crop today, commanding $20 to $35 a pound from essential oil distillers and herbalists. Modern science has caught up to the biblical text. Hyssop contains a powerful ketone called pinocamphone. Clinical trials have demonstrated its incredible ability to act as an expectorant, breaking up heavy mucus in the lungs and fighting off severe viral infections at the molecular level. It is a heavy-duty antimicrobial agent. Traditionally, the deep green leaves and purple flowers are harvested and steam distilled into an oil or brewed into a sharp, bitter tea that immediately opens the airways and cleanses the respiratory tract. Hyssop never got forgotten, but we did forget that it is genuine healing. This was not symbolic. This was a direct medical prescription from the Creator. Number 10. Lemon balm, the sweet nectar of serenity. In the Middle Ages, European monks cultivated lemon balm in their secret monastery gardens, creating a famous medicinal tonic called Carmelite water. It was believed to completely chase away melancholy and restore a broken nervous system. But here is what most people miss. In today's highly stressed world, the demand for natural anxiety relief is exploding, and pure lemon balm easily sells for $20 to $40 a pound. Modern science has finally caught up to the monks. Clinical trials have proven that the rosmarinic acid and eugenol in lemon balm directly interact with the GABA receptors in your brain. This means it physically shuts down the molecular pathways of stress and panic without the addictive and liver-destroying side effects of pharmaceutical tranquilizers. The traditional application is incredibly simple. You take the fresh heart-shaped leaves, crush them between your fingers to release the volatile oils, and steep them in hot water. The immediate cooling sensation and profound calming effect are undeniable. Lemon balm never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was sacred. If you are starting to see the profound pattern here, take a single moment to hit that like button and subscribe right now to join a growing community that understands true healing and genuine wealth come directly from the earth and the ancient texts, not from a sterile laboratory. Number 11. Calendula, the golden healer of antiquity, selling for $20 to $50 a pound. Long before the advent of modern dermatology, ancient healers and early monastic records documented the profound, miraculous power of these brilliant orange and yellow flowers. They were grown in sacred monastery gardens and applied to the most severe wounds of soldiers and peasants alike. But here is what most people miss. This is not just a pretty flower to decorate your garden. It is a highly profitable medicinal crop that the natural skincare industry is desperately searching for. Modern science has caught up spectacularly. Clinical trials have proven that the high concentration of flavonoids and triterpenoids in calendula actively accelerate cellular regeneration by stimulating lymphatic drainage and increasing blood flow to damaged tissues. When applied to the skin, it physically fights inflammation and oxidative stress at the molecular level, stimulating the production of collagen and drastically reducing healing time. The traditional application is incredibly simple, yet profoundly effective. You take the dried golden petals, infuse them slowly in a high-quality carrier oil for several weeks, and apply that golden serum directly to open wounds, burns, or severely inflamed skin. The soothing relief is immediate. Calendula never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was sacred. Number 12. Stevia, the sweet leaf of survival, commanding $20 to $40 a pound. For centuries, indigenous tribes in South America revered this incredibly sweet plant as a profound gift from nature, using it to sweeten bitter medicinal teas and treat severe ailments of the stomach. But here is what most people miss. In a world completely addicted to toxic artificial sweeteners, growing pure organic stevia is an absolute goldmine. Modern science has finally caught up to ancient wisdom. Clinical trials demonstrate that the steviol glycosides within the leaves provide intense sweetness, up to 300 times sweeter than sugar, but they do not trigger the devastating insulin spikes caused by refined carbohydrates. In fact, research shows it physically regulates blood glucose levels by protecting the beta cells in the pancreas and improving insulin sensitivity at the cellular level, performing better than many dangerous pharmaceutical interventions. The traditional application is as pure as it gets. You simply pluck a single fresh green leaf, crush it lightly between your fingers, and drop it into a cup of hot water or bitter herbal tea. Stevia never got forgotten, but we did forget it was a direct medical prescription for metabolic balance. We traded this miraculous leaf for highly processed industrial sugars and chemical sweeteners that destroy our metabolic health and feed chronic disease. Number 13. Tulsi, the sacred basil of life, bringing in $20 to $45 a pound. In ancient Eastern traditions, this plant is not just respected, it is actively worshipped. It is planted around temples and homes as a profound symbol of divine protection and spiritual purity. But here is what most people miss. The modern wellness industry is desperately undersupplied with high-quality organic Tulsi, making it a highly lucrative crop for the smart grower. Modern science has caught up spectacularly. Clinical trials reveal that the eugenol, ursulic acid, and rosmarinic acid in Tulsi act as powerful adaptogens that directly modulate the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This means the plant physically lowers serum cortisol levels and fights deep-seated oxidative stress at the cellular level. It protects your internal organs from the chemical, physical, and emotional trauma of modern life without the severe side effects of pharmaceutical anti-anxiety medication. The traditional application remains a beautiful daily ritual. You steep the fresh purple-tinged leaves in boiling water, taking a moment to breathe in the deeply aromatic, peppery steam before drinking the infusion. Tulsi never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was sacred. We traded genuine holistic defense for synthetic immune boosters and laboratory-made stress pills that leave our bodies exhausted and dependent. Number 14. Ashwagandha, the root of ancient strength, selling for $25 to $60 a pound. Documented thousands of years ago in ancient Ayurvedic texts, this miraculous root was prescribed to kings and warriors to restore lost vitality and cure the deepest exhaustion of the soul. But here is what most people miss. Ashwagandha is currently the absolute darling of the multi-billion-dollar supplement industry, and cultivating the raw organic root is quite literally like printing money. Modern science has finally caught up. Clinical trials prove that the specific compounds called withanolides, found deep within this root, exhibit powerful GABA mimetic activity. This means they bind to receptors in the brain to drastically reduce serum cortisol and physically repair the central nervous system at a molecular level. It rebuilds your stress resilience and balances thyroid function without the dangerous chemical dependencies and emotional numbing of modern antidepressants. The traditional application is deeply restorative. You grind the dried, earthy root into a fine powder and mix it with warm milk, raw honey, and a pinch of black pepper right before sleep. Ashwagandha never got forgotten, but we did forget it was a direct medical prescription for nervous system collapse. We traded true physical and mental restoration for pharmaceutical stimulants and synthetic sedatives that merely mask the symptoms of our modern burnout. Number 15. Catnip, the feline mint of fortune, commanding $30 to $60 a pound. While modern society thinks of this plant as nothing more than a funny joke for house cats, ancient herbalists held it in the highest regard as a profound sedative for human infants and a powerful fever reducer. But here is what most people miss. The premium organic pet industry is exploding, and they are practically begging for high-grade catnip, making it an absolute goldmine that grows as easily as a weed. Modern science has caught up spectacularly. Clinical trials show that the active compound nepetalactone not only triggers a harmless euphoria in felines, but when used by humans, it acts as a potent antimicrobial agent and a physical relaxant. Furthermore, it has diaphoretic properties, meaning it safely induces sweating to naturally break a fever, and has been proven to be a more effective mosquito repellent than toxic chemical DEET. The traditional human application is incredibly gentle. You crush the soft, fragrant leaves to release the volatile oils and brew them into a mild, soothing tea to break a fever or calm a crying child. Catnip never got forgotten, but we did forget it was legitimate human medicine before it became a commercialized pet toy. We traded a safe, natural remedy for harsh pharmaceutical fever reducers that damage the liver. Number 16. Yaupon holly, the forgotten American stimulant, bringing in $30 to $70 a pound. Long before European colonists arrived, indigenous tribes across the southeastern Americas brewed the leaves of this resilient bush into a sacred black drink used in profound purification rituals and mental preparation for battle. But here is what most people miss. This is the absolute only naturally caffeinated plant native to North America, and the boutique tea market is desperately undersupplied. Modern science has finally caught up to the tribes. Clinical trials show that yaupon is densely packed with theobromine caffeine and powerful antioxidants. The theobromine acts as a natural vasodilator, opening up blood vessels to provide a massive, clean energy lift that enhances cognitive focus without the severe oxidative stress, jittery crashes, and heart palpitations caused by synthetic energy drinks and heavily roasted commercial coffees. The traditional application requires patience and respect. You roast the tough green leaves over an open fire to unlock their chemical compounds and steep them in boiling water for a profoundly smooth, dark tea. Yaupon never got forgotten, but we did forget why it was sacred. We traded a miraculous native medicine and a pure, clean energy source for artificial laboratory-synthesized stimulants that wreck our adrenal glands and leave us chronically fatigued. Number 17. Go-to cola, the herb of enlightenment, selling for $30 to $60 a pound. For centuries, ancient scholars, monks, and spiritual masters consumed this creeping green plant daily to enhance their deep meditation and allegedly prolong their lives far beyond the normal human span. But here is what most people miss. The modern market for cognitive enhancement and brain hacking is exploding globally, and this humble plant is the ultimate crown jewel. Modern science has caught up spectacularly. Clinical trials demonstrate that the unique triterpenoid compounds in Go-To Cola physically stimulate the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, while simultaneously improving microcirculation directly across the blood-brain barrier. This means it actively repairs damaged nerve pathways, increases neuroplasticity, and improves memory at the molecular level without the liver-destroying side effects of pharmaceutical smart drugs. The traditional application is wonderfully simple and direct. You harvest the fresh fan-shaped leaves and eat them raw in a daily salad, or blend them into a vibrant green medicinal tonic. Go-To Cola never got forgotten, but we did forget it was a direct medical prescription for brain health and extreme longevity. We traded genuine neurological nourishment for dangerous synthetic amphetamines that force our brains to work while slowly destroying our central nervous system. The 18th number. There is a floating marvel of multiplication known as duckweed, which can fetch anywhere from $20 to $60 per pound. Over the course of several generations, the general public has disregarded this little plant as nothing more than pond slime, a green coating that covers lakes and still waters that are stagnant. However, this is what the majority of people fail to notice. Growing this particular plant in controlled circumstances is extremely lucrative, and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, is currently conducting study on it as a potential primary sustainable food supply for deep space travel. When it comes to nature, modern science has at long last caught up. Several clinical experiments have demonstrated that this small plant is a complete protein powerhouse, as it contains all 9 essential amino acids, as well as significant quantities of vitamin B12 that is accessible. Furthermore, it is able to physically combat cellular starvation at the molecular level while simultaneously sequestering carbon from the atmosphere. It does this by absorbing nutrients straight from the water and multiplying its biomass tenfold in a matter of days. Traditional and contemporary applications require gathering the tiny green fronds, cleaning them thoroughly, and drying them into a nutrient-dense green powder that may be used into daily meals or therapeutic broths. This process is known as the green powder. Even though duckweed was never forgotten, we failed to take the time to appreciate the amazing miracles that nature had supplied right in front of our very eyes. As a result of exchanging true, sustainable cellular nourishment for vitamin pills that were manufactured in a laboratory and that our bodies are unable to properly absorb, we ended up being overfed while simultaneously being severely malnourished. The 19th number, known as the numbing gold of the East, Sichuan pepper may fetch anywhere from $40 to $80 per pound. Not only was this highly uncommon spice sought after by ancient emperors and royal physicians due to its elaborate flavor, but it was also sought after as a powerful remedy for the treatment of intestinal paralysis and severe joint pain. However, this is not a pepper at all. Rather, it is the dried husk of a very small citrus fruit. It is the crop that has the highest value in terms of both culinary and medicinal applications for those who have the patience to cultivate it. The modern scientific community has made remarkable progress. It has been demonstrated through clinical testing that the principal active ingredient, hydroxy-alpha-sanchool, has a direct interaction with the TRPA1 and TRPV1 ion channels that are present in your neurological system. Through the creation of a bodily numbing and vibrating sensation, it totally shuts down pain pathways and lowers severe tissue inflammation. This is accomplished without the horrific addictive horrors that are normally associated with pharmaceutical opioids. In its most basic sense, the conventional application is an art form. The volatile oils are released by lightly toasting the red husks in a dry iron pan. The husks are then ground into a fine powder, which can be sprinkled over therapeutic broths or mixed into a relaxing medicinal ointment for hurting joints. We did not forget that Sichuan pepper was a sacred painkiller, but we did forget that it was actually available. We substituted synthetic medications, which are responsible for the loss of millions of lives, for true natural pain alleviation. The aforementioned was not merely culinary folklore. This was a prescription that was written by a doctor. A total of 19 magnificent examples of divine design have just been presented to us. A fundamental truth starts to become apparent when you take a look at this list, which includes everything from the common weeds that grow in your backyard to the rare spices that were once used to build empires. A spiritual compass is not the only function of the Bible. It is a highly advanced medical treatise that documents therapeutic wisdom that was effective thousands of years ago and continues to be scientifically sound today. Over the course of several generations, contemporary culture has been conditioned to view these traditional treatments as little more than cultural myths. We were informed that the only way to obtain genuine healing is to purchase a plastic bottle that has a caution label that is 1 mile long. Through a deal, we were able to acquire the laboratory. We exchanged treatments that are in sync with our biology for synthetic medications that are toxic to our livers, disturb our hearts, and leave us dependent on a medical system that is flawed. On the other hand, contemporary science has at long last caught up to old faith. Molecular biology and therapeutic experiments that have been examined by peers are providing evidence that our forefathers knew was true by divine teaching. Folklore does not apply to these plants. This is a safe and effective medication. There is no way that the Creator would have placed us on a poisonous planet and forgotten about us. The molecular level of engineering was applied to each and every leaf, root, and seed in order to combat extreme oxidative stress, eliminate harmful microorganisms, and restore cellular damage. This is the ideal medication since it is rooted in the ground and is absolutely free from any adverse consequences or avarice on the part of corporations. Over the course of this entire time, the healing that you have been looking for with all your heart has been developing just under your feet. We have simply forgotten how to view the globe through the lens of the provision that God has promised. I am now interested in hearing from you. Among these sacred plants, which one has shocked you the most throughout the day? Are you a member of the ancient herb squad? And are you prepared to turn your spice rack into a potent medicine cabinet or cabinet? You are a member of the wild weed squad, and you are anxious to forage the miracles that are growing right outside your residence? Or are you a member of the exotic roots team, who are captivated by the therapeutic potential of these uncommon botanicals? Let me know in the comments section below. I have read each and every one of them, and it is really fascinating to learn about the ways in which this ancient knowledge is influencing your contemporary life. Click the button that says subscribe right now to become a part of our expanding community. Stay blessed, and make sure you take care of your health. I'll see you in the next video.